The gold rush missed a lot of gold because they didn't get in the water, so I spent 3 days picking up beautiful gold that they left behind. Let's skip the intro and just get into it. So the first thing we gotta do is look for exposed bedrock. The gold is heavy and ends up sinking down to it, so instead of spending time digging through the gravel till you eventually find bedrock, it's best to just go to where it's more accessible, like here.
Very nice.
The first spot that I'm working in here today is kind of a bad example of bedrock. I don't really know what it is. I know it's bedrock, but it's really soft and it's also half clay.
A good 25 minutes later, let me show you the bedrock I'm looking at here. The bedrock isn't solid, it's actually pretty soft, but I am finding a little bit of gold through here. Not sure if it's soft enough to hold a huge nugget, but you never know. It's always worth looking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue forward here until I get bored or until we find a big piece of gold, and then we'll probably move around, or I don't know. As long as we're having fun, we're success.
So a big part of looking for gold is moving rocks. Gold is super heavy, so the best place to find it is under the gravel on the very bottom, which is called the bedrock. Unfortunately, doing this by hand takes a long time. Eventually, I started to see some more gold show up, and these pieces were starting to get a little bigger.
Just moved a boulder out of the way, found a nice nugget underneath. It's probably gonna be our biggest one so far.
As in the zone you become when you're looking for gold underwater, out of the water it's quite quiet.
Saw a fish. I'm just working behind this boulder here, and this is where I'm finding most of the gold right now.
As much as I want to sit here and just suck up small gold all day, I kind of do want to get moving to check out some new spots. So I sucked up maybe 10 more little pieces, and we carried on. Okay, so here's the gold for day 1. I'm not disappointed. All these are really chunky and way more than you would find if you were just to pan randomly. I also have a little bit of gold here from footage that I lost, but I'm going to include it in here anyway because I'm happy. And also the lead. Now I'm not going to weigh this gold to the end of this video, so please keep watching and stay tuned for day 2. For day 2, I decided to bring my hookah system. This is a battery operating breathing device 3000 called the Nomad Mini by Blue. This allows you to breathe non-fish air to not only help keep you alive, but also find gold in places never before explored. It's also summertime right now and the river isn't really flowing that much, so in these deeper pools, it's really easy to silt yourself out, so having a flashlight helps. Also, Lauren, my photographer, for taking these amazing shots. I eventually decided to ditch the hookah system to save battery and to explore some shallow areas just to reconfirm my ability that I could find gold, which worked.
Finally, Lauren and I are working along this trench right here, not finding anything until now. We found a first little nugget, probably a picker. It's a good sign.
Hello.
Now we're just gonna move all that overburden out of the way and try to continue along this crack for a bit.
What I'm doing right here is I'm just removing some of the bigger rocks to make fanning a little easier. And I kind of moved gravel at the same time I fan just to mix up the material and hopefully drop some gold that's in the overburden down to the bedrock. And if you look carefully, there is a third hand, which is Lauren, who's helping me push some of this material out of the way. I feel like having a second person as a sniping assistant is very helpful. Now that I see the crack is actually continuing a bit, I have to move these big boulders out of the way and the pile of dirt that I just moved in front of me so I can get down and have a better look. Which ended up being a waste of time.
So we just found out that that little nugget was in a little pocket. We tried to go down the crack and found that the bedrock went up, which means there's no point going further. So we went behind the crack, facing upstream, and now we're just kind of looking in here to see if there's more places for gold.
So now I'm working in the opposite direction to see if the crack continued upstream, which also was a waste of time. But at least now we know, so we won't come back to this spot. Both Lauren and I are having a little break. We are very hungry. We were a little bit discouraged until we weren't. Here we have 2 pieces of gold. One that I would consider a little nugget, so a little picker, and then this itty bitty little piece of fly poop. So we are on the gold. It's just taking a little long to find it. What up, gangster?
Can I hold it?
Yeah. So what I think the plan is we're just gonna eat some food. I'm gonna go pee, and then we're gonna go downstream a little ways and see if we can't uncover something hugest.
Totally.
This is actually pretty huge. This isn't bad.
Check it out.
This is actually a nice piece of gold.
Woo!
Very nice. It's so bright underwater, hey?
Yeah.
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 Okay, see you in a minute.
Look what I just found. Flower stone.
So, some of you may not realize just how much work it is to find gold sometimes. I'm out here hunting more than you may think, and more times than not, I don't find enough gold to feel it's worth uploading. In this video though, I'm giving you both of those worlds to hopefully give you a more realistic experience. We do end up finding a lot of gold in this video, but just let me know what you think.
That's a rock.
How do you know it's not even labeled?
I am back on the hookah system to try my luck in the deeper waters again. I may actually have to come back when there's more water flow because without that water flow, it's super easy to smoke yourself out.
I can't see. All right, just found our biggest piece so far today. It always looks bigger underwater, but for sure this is our biggest piece. I've always been a little nervous to work here because this is the same area where I almost myself a few years ago. I was diving alone. Anyway, we won't get into that. Here's a nice piece of gold. Woohoo!
So this piece of gold was probably about 5.5 feet deep, so not terrible, but for sure nobody else has ever looked here before.
Unfortunately, it's too dark for me to film picking it up, but I'll go grab it and I'll show you.
I definitely had trouble getting it out because it was just wedged in this little crack.
I'm still trying to bang it out. It's still stuck in that crevice. I'm trying not to hit it though.
And like always, I didn't have tweezers on me, so I had to do everything else but the easiest option.
Like I said, it looks so much bigger underwater, but it's still a nice little piece.
So nice. Awesome.
Sweet.
Sweet.
So what I like to do when I'm in these deep areas is to sink down and have a quick look before bringing air with me. That way I can check to see if the spot is even worth using up battery.
I found one little piece already.
Now that I did find a little piece of gold down there, I can properly work the area using this extra air. Now, obviously you can't see what I'm doing because it's just so dark, and even if I was holding the camera, I couldn't use all 3 of my other hands. But to sum it up, I found out that this crack continued, but underneath about 4 feet of overburden, so I will have to come back.
So I worked in that deep zone over there, couldn't really see. There's a lot more overburden to move over, but definitely worth going back to when I have a lot more energy. We're making our way back up to base camp now. Just found another little guy.
This one was stupid. I had to move it around and then I lost it.
Check it out here. It's so cool. Here's the little fishy. Paul says that there's one rule. If that thing is making noise, he's alive.
What I'm trying to do here is bust some of these rocks out of this crevice so I can see if there's any gold at the bottom of the crevice. Sometimes there won't be, but these are the best places for you to look.
Ironstone is a heavy rock. Gold is a heavy metal. So if you find this, you're in the right area. It's a good sign that there could be ironstone around.
So before I called it day 2, I floated upstream to where I was on day 1, and I found a little piece of gold that I must have missed. I played around in the area for maybe 10 minutes and then decided to go.
So here's an interesting fact. You don't need to know how to swim to snipe your gold because your wetsuit's really buoyant. You can just lay here and you float. What could possibly go wrong?
All right, so just like that, both Lauren and I are calling it. It's actually been a really long day, even though I wasn't filming a lot. It's just because most of the time I'm looking around for a spot to film. How you feeling?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm tired, really tired. So in a minute, when we pack up, we're gonna go to the car. I'll show you the gold that we found today. Tomorrow, I'll come back, probably go to a different river and see if we can bring all this gold to 2,000 ounces. So here's the gold that we found on day 2. Actually, nice and chunky. I don't mind risking the days not finding anything if that means finding some bigger pieces of gold. I knew this area had bigger pieces of gold and we went sniping and found some bigger pieces of gold. So I like bigger pieces of gold if you like bigger pieces of gold.
I like bigger pieces of gold.
All right, it's a new day. I've only been in the water for about 6.1146 seconds. Found our first piece of gold of the day. A nice little chunky bit.
The place I'm working in right now is actually a place I scuba dove many years ago. But there's been many big floods since then, and I like to say I've gotten a little better at spotting the gold.
Just spotted another one right away.
Now, obviously, when you find gold, you should just keep looking because there could be more gold around. But I will admit, the longer I'm in one spot, the harder it is to actually see. After looking around for a bit and not finding anything else, I moved up to a deeper area using the hookah system and I started finding lead, so I just kept the camera rolling, and to my surprise, we found another gold nugget.
It's a nice little piece. You gotta remember, what you see on screen looks smaller than what I see through my mask. So my reaction might be really crazy, but it looks big under the mask, so we'll see how it fits.
Continuing along in the spot, I didn't see anything. Now, I could easily be blowing away small gold, fanning the way that I do, and I'm okay with that because the amount of time it would take to suck up all the little tiny pieces of gold, I might as well sacrifice the little pieces of gold and conserve time just picking up the bigger ones that won't get blown away. Now, if I started seeing hundreds of little pieces, then yeah, I would take the time to clean it all up, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm just impatient, lazy, and I lack big nuggets.
Alright, so I've gone upstream quite a ways. I haven't noticed anything except for really smooth bedrock and big boulders. Both could be a good sign. Smooth bedrock isn't generally what you're looking for, but it's good if it leads into a crevice. But I haven't found any crevices yet. If you guys know what kind of an engine and transmission this is, let me know. I'm just working underneath this little waterfall here, and I found a pinch point with some gold at the very bottom. I'll try to show you, but it might be too shallow.
It was definitely too shallow for me to film this crevice, but I did manage to get 3 or 4 pieces out of it, including this photo that shows one of the pieces.
Just seen another piece of gold down there.
After I cleaned out that crevice, Lorna and I actually changed rivers. I don't normally do that on the same day, but we still had about 6 hours left of the day, so we made the decision to change rivers to hopefully have more luck.
So it's already starting to get cold, and I'm getting pretty tired, but of course I say that right as I found another piece of gold. Finally, it's been like 40 minutes. As you can see, it's really smoky here, so I'll try to show you.
So you'll hear me say it again, but this river's really unique.
Nice.
There's typically no gold until you find nuggets or a pocket of gold.
Oh, there you go. Right there. Nice.
That might be our biggest piece of the day.
I figured this is the best creek to take a risk and hopefully come back with lots of gold.
So I just found a third piece. Now, if those 3 pieces were together, I'd call that a pocket. But it's in a crevice. It's not really a pocket, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna move all this overburden out of the way, and then we'll turn back the camera on. Just spotted another one.
So now that I'm in the area that I want to be, it's just a matter of scratching and fanning and hopefully seeing some yellow. Fortunately for us, I didn't decide to just change spots like I normally do because I found exactly what we're looking for.
Look at that. Nice. Look at that.
I love how bright gold is. That is. I love how bright gold is. It just pops right out.
Very nice.
And now I just look around in the area and make sure I didn't miss anything or that there's not a bigger pile laying around.
This creek is really weird. I love it because the gold is good. I love it because the gold is good here, but the water is really cold and the gold is hard to find. I'm not really sure if, well, I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying it's good when you find it and not good when you don't find it. So Lauren's with me again today. He's been following me around today. It's been a very great helpfulness. She's been carrying all my stuff, which is really helpful. All right, so I've been at the spot before. There's a little crevice in here that I'll show you in a second. I didn't have my light before, which wasn't really a big deal, but the light makes such a big difference. I just popped out another piece of gold. It actually looks pretty rough too.
Nice, huh?
So even though I've been here before, I'm gonna go over it again quickly just because I'm obviously missing pieces.
So we're at the river and I am the gold caddy. Paul is currently in the freezing cold river. I am not. Look at him go. He's such a hard worker.
All right, so after looking everywhere, and I mean everywhere, for more pieces of gold, I was able to find one little guy. And then after that, I looked for a bit longer, and then boom, the GoPro battery died. So we just called it a day. All right, so the GoPro battery died, and I managed to find 2 more little pieces of gold before getting too cold and getting out of the river. What a beautiful spot. Look at this. Amazing. Lauren, did you have fun?
I had a great time.
She had a great time. Yeah, she's really helpful today, which is super awesome. Okay, flashlight is on. Look at that, for day 3. Pieces of gold. That one looks like a little arrowhead. It's kind of neat. That was one of the ones that I found off camera. We have this old square nail, some pieces of lead, but who cares? The gold is better than the lead. Look at that big chunky guy. That one is a nice piece. That was in the bottom of a little hole with another one. And I thought I saw a 3rd piece. I don't know if I sucked it up or I missed it. Let's suck all this up, go to the house, and look at all 3 days. How much gold did we find? It's official when you can make a little pile. All right, here's the gold for 3 days. And how I know this is gold, says gold. I think this is awesome. There's a lot of chunky gold in here, and I'm pretty fortunate to live in a place where there is chunky gold, because there's a lot of places in the world that only have small gold or no gold at all. And even the smaller gold in here is still pretty chunky, so I cannot complain. These are the bigger pieces of gold, probably nothing over 1 gram. Maybe there's a couple pieces in here, but I'm thinking it's all gonna be at least 20 ounces. Something I like about gold nuggets is they're always so different flavors and shapes. This is our biggest piece, I think. It looks the biggest, but it's probably gonna weigh the most as well. I have a couple favorite pieces in here. This one being the shape of an arrowhead, and this one having some rust on it. Also, some pieces have quartz, and some mercury, which is just left over from the gold rush. They used to dump mercury in the river to locate the gold. I can explain that on another video, and it's very toxic, so I might just put it on a spoon and smoke it later. So I think it's time to put it on the scale and see what it weighs. So I'm just gonna quickly weigh some of our bigger bits just to see if they weigh over 1 gram. This one's probably gonna be 9 grams. I'm just kidding, under 1 gram. Oh, just under 1 gram, 0.95. That's about $1,000. This one, I'm gonna, ooh, mercury finger, 0.67. I don't know, I'm asking. 0.60. I knew it. Now, our biggest nugget, I'm gonna actually, honestly, I don't know, actually, 0.9. 0.95. So yeah, like I guessed, nothing over 1 gram. So let's put it all together and see if it weighs over 1 gram. 4 ounces. Holy. 9.54 grams, so just under 10 grams. That is roughly $1,200 American or $1,700 Canadian. Now, because these are nuggets and I'm so special, I'll add a bit more to that.